Welcome. Today is one of our stretch chats. We love to do these, and we do call it a chat because we do like to have a conversation. So we do like to share ideas. I love seeing people that we know on there, and folks can interject if they want or write their questions on the chat feature, and Jane will make sure we see it. But today we're going to hear from Emerson. Emerson has been our summer intern. We've enjoyed having him on our team. I'll talk more about him as we move forward. But, we're always trying to make sure that we are utilizing, all the information and the technologies that we can when it comes to strategic planning, because that's what we do. So Emerson did some great insights, some research about 4 of them that I think you're going to find. I don't think you're going to be surprised by them, but I will tell you that they're very relevant and they're very critical for us to figure out how we're doing them. So let me just give you a little reminder how we do chats, and use the function on Zoom, put any questions in there. We'll go back to them. We are going to try to leave time in between each trend to do some Q&A. Just as you guys hear me say all the time, retention of information goes way up when we discuss and we, answer questions. So I do encourage people to do that. And if you want, you can introduce yourself in the chat. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, we've got cool people on here, so feel free to do that. And we appreciate your time. We're going to make sure that we add value. And I know you're going to take away at least 2 or 3 things. So our company constantly trying to help people stretch, maximize their potential without tearing or breaking. I mean, that's never a good thing. But we are constantly trying to make you think and encourage you to be a little uncomfortable. Cindy is my partner. She is in Alaska. Super fun for Cindy. She took 2 weeks to be in Alaska, and she's out. So she is the people part of Stretch. We integrate strategy and leadership. We do training. We do a lot around strategic planning. Jane's on our team. She does our marketing and branding. Nancy's here. She's on our team. She does a lot of client and office. Riley sort of helps us at times on some of the Career for Me, and Mandy is working on some curriculum right now. In fact, Nancy just joined the call working on some curriculum for us. I always remind people, just because we are so ingrained in this purpose, values, differentiators, and vision. I remind you as an organization that, or even as a person, that this is the grounding part for all the work that we do. And part of one of our values is lifetime learner. So that's why we do these stretch chats, and we really encourage articles and talking and learning, because that's what leaders do. And with new information, we are smarter. So we are really, this is part of who we are, is having these stretch chats and encouraging conversation. Our whole thing is healthy leadership. So we do a lot around Berkman and understanding others, which is a behavior assessment and communication. So again, I only share this because I want every organization or person to have a very measurable vision, and our vision is 1 million, and we got a long way to go, but we really want to scale and impact others. Who we do, what we do. Again, these are just examples. I like to share reasons to believe. I know Marissa's on here with PDI. I love their reasons to believe and why use them as, to solve some of the issues on patient entertainment, but really understanding why people should pick you. And this is why we think you should pick us, but it's just an example. Our model is based on healthy leadership, winning strategies, and high-performing teams. So today, our talk is really on the strategy part. And we're really going to focus in on how do you make and keep strategy relevant, and how do you make sure we're on the cutting edge. So our renowned speaker, Emerson Rinaldi, I'm going to pass it to him. He is we should have put, Emerson, you didn't put the Ohio State.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
The Ohio State University in the fall. And he is in a cool program, which is so exciting. And again, I work with a lot of engineers and engineering companies that make stuff. And it's a new, I don't know how new it is, but it integrates business and engineering. So all of these folks are coming out with either a major in business or a major in engineering and a minor in the other. So it's how do you solve problems? I mean, that's amazing. So excited. And then he, of course, was part of a small group that has that opportunity. I think how many are you, Emerson?
So in my individual track, there's 36 students.
Yeah, 36 in all of the Ohio State University, which I think might have 9,000 freshmen or something like that, which is pretty amazing. And he did go to Seven Hills, which is where one of my other sons went, Logan Bean, who might be on the call as well. And we're excited. All right, Emerson, I'm going to get you started.
Yeah, hi. I have been working with Darcy and Stretch for the summer as their summer intern, and as part of that, I was, seeing what trends look like. Specifically what is changing in the world of business, and how can companies stay ahead of the game. So, what we're going to cover, I picked out 4 trends I think have become increasingly important in the field of business. Um, Maximizing efficiency, getting more popularity around your organization. To start, artificial intelligence. I mean, we've all heard of AI at some point. Whether it's with the Terminator or something else, it's becoming more of a prominent topic every day. Next, digitization. We're looking at how to maximize your organization with, digitizing documents, such SEO, data analytics, how to really get the most out of digitizing your information. Then corporate social responsibility. It's becoming more popular than ever, especially with younger generations. As you'll see later with the data, it's very, very important nowadays. And then lastly, we're going to talk about leadership and how it has really changed over time and how I've learned about it changing.
When Emerson pulled these together, it was interesting because, again, I've been doing strategy with some of you on here. And the third one for me was a given because most of my clients, 80% of them have a purpose and have a mission and have actually brought that to life. But it is surprising that it's really not part of everyone's language when you look in the broader. And the statistics are very clear on this. People that are connected to a purpose, volunteer with you, engage at a higher level, and it increases their retention. So there's a real benefit to corporate responsibility, and it's called retention of key employees. So great. All right, talk about your research.
Yeah, so my research. So to start, I have my 2 interviews with 2 consulting professionals, Manish Anand and then Gaurav Kilaru, who recently graduated from Ohio State, and he's now a consultant. But yeah, over the summer, this has been really the greatest experience. I've learned so much, and it's really helped me with this presentation because I think I've learned about where companies can really get a competitive edge over their competitors. And then what else? Oh, my web research. So yeah, below these are 5 of my resources that I use to find some key data points that are really, back up my research. But more importantly, tell you why these are really good trends to look at, integrate into your organizations.
Awesome. All right, let's go to let's talk about strategy. Who doesn't want to talk about strategy? This is the best subject ever. We could just stay on this slide all day.
Yeah, so this is a question that I've been trying to figure out over the summer. And I think, Mrs. Bean over the summer has really helped me find out an answer. But I think that this one definition from a 2018 McKinsey article really summarizes it best for me, as a way of thinking about your business, not a set of procedures or frameworks. Strategy is really dynamic, especially nowadays with how much technology is changing companies. I think strategy can, again, be any way you want it to be. It's a way of thinking about your business. And this dynamic nature really plays into the importance of technology and concerns of younger generations, which led me to my trends that I picked out for this stretch chat.
Well, and what I add to that is a way to think of your business to win, however you want to define winning. I mean, win might be growing, revenue, it might be growing profit, it might be just making a bigger difference in the world, it might be solving, a big need out there in the marketplace. But it is, and I've said this, the constantly changing is, I mean, your strategy, you need to be renewing it, looking at it, looking up weekly and monthly. Quarterly and annual is not enough anymore. I mean, the technology parts, we're going to share a little bit on AI. I mean, the things that people are utilizing AI and chat GPT, did I get it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are amazing, and if you're not doing that, and I'm trying to start doing that, but if you're not doing that as an organization, you're already behind. You're behind. So how do we utilize these things and make faster, smarter, more dynamic decisions on strategy, how to market, how to grow, how to find new business ideas. And so I think that's very relevant to your first trend.
Yes, generative AI. It's really incredible. I've been, trying to test it out this summer, mostly with ChatGPT. But it's subset of AI techniques and technologies. But I think the most incredible thing is that you can really just give it a prompt or give it anything you want it to do, and it can really accomplish it. I think what really speaks volumes about generative AI is it's been featured in popular culture recently. It was in a South Park episode. I don't know if you'll know what that is, but it's definitely becoming more prominent than ever. I think that the fact that it's reaching these audiences really just says how it can really apply to anyone's life. I mean, for me, over the summer, I've been able to use it with my internship to do some competitor analyses. I give it, a quick prompt, like give it a website, a URL for a website, ask it, give me 5 flaws with this organization, and how can I fix it? And it gives me, within seconds, it compiles a list of a few key points and things you can work on. It's really incredible.
So we have, and we can put it in LinkedIn, but Jane found this cool article around the 5 most popular prompts used by entrepreneurs. And this was July 25th, 2023. And the first one is about a business idea. I'm looking for a business idea in this industry within this idea. Can you suggest some innovative and profitable opportunities? The second one is so basic, but it's so funny. It's marketing strategy. And what are the most effective marketing strategies to promote my product or service that solves this problem? We have a target audience of this and want to achieve this. I mean, it literally, like, I haven't done that. I'm doing it. Like I've got to do that. So it's amazing. The efficiency, how can I optimize my business operations? Raise money, my business does this. I want to benefit this audience. How should I go about finding sources of funding? And then the expansion prompt. But those are 5 prompts right now that entrepreneurs are using to be more dynamic in strategy. It's amazing. And let's talk about this one.
Yes, maximizing efficiency in the office. So in one of my interviews, I really learned about how one of the kids, Gaurav Killer, who just graduated, he was in a consulting club at Ohio State. He would use AI to take a long document and create a short summary to present in a business meeting to his clients. But it was really incredible how it can shorten information, but still keep it very concise and accurate to what that original document was. But without taking all the time to look through it, pick out the key points, it can still reproduce it in a very effective way. And as Darcy was saying earlier with the article, it can create creative solutions to problems within seconds. And that can really give you a competitive edge over competitors who fail to recognize the use of AI and how it can really help their organization become better as a whole.
So I love this chart that Emerson put together. And all the things that and again, we are on the cusp of this. I mean, it'll be so, and like even 6 months from now or 2 years from now. I remember with COVID, I'd never used Zoom before. I mean, literally, I remember getting a session from Aisha Armstrong, like, how do you use Zoom? I don't know how to do Zoom. And now, I mean, it's second nature. AI is going to be like that. And look at all these things that you can go directly to this infinite source of information and ask it. You know, these are real questions that we use in strategy. And I'm going to start putting it in my listen and learn section. I'm going to put it on my competitive analysis to say, what did AI tell you about this company? You know, I mean, those are things I think that are real opportunities, and I've got to figure out catalysts in my process to make sure my clients are using it. But I did want to just stop for a second. Is anyone, if I stop and share, we're going to try this. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. Is anyone here using AI? No. Anyone?
So we use it in a similar way to what how Emerson is using it. So we'll use it to for brainstorming purposes to
Okay.
figure out, you know, blog topics. We actually did a blog post where we had AI write a blog for us, but then we posted it and we said this was written by AI, and we kind of gave our critique on it, but that's it. I mean, we've been talking about putting voice control technology into our products forever. The market's never been ready, and now by the time we're ready, we're probably going to be late, but yeah, so that's how we're using it.
Oh, that's good. And it sounds like Cynthia said she uses it for workflow and business plans, which that makes a lot of sense. And then Logan, have you used it at all? Chat GPT or any of the like?
Sorry, didn't know I was gonna get called out. No, I haven't used any yet. No.
No chat GPT or AI?
Not unless I'm doing my homework. Kidding, obviously. No, no, I haven't used any.
All right, let's go to the next, digitalization.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, digitization, similar to AI, you know, on a similar note, technology is really just changing the world around us. Yeah, this RSM survey that I looked at, it talks about how, so this is a massive survey of top business executives. They said 82% of them claim that implementing digital technologies has improved the analytics available to the board. Basically, by giving data, key data points. I mean, I think Lou in the chat mentioned earlier he's asking about how complex data, yeah, AI, but yeah, complex data. It can really provide some great pointers to the board, see how the company is really improving. Next, reducing costs. Yeah, so by digitizing documents and things of the such, where you can make it a digital version, it can really reduce costs and paper, other things like that. And then database decision making. So yeah, again, like the board, you can make better decisions based on really good data to help, instead of just guessing and checking, you can really give yourself the best possible outcome with the data. And yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of people use a lot more on the marketing side. And, instead of, there's just a lot of digitalization when it comes to understanding who our leads are, how we're enabling that, the whole workflow from LinkedIn to a Sharp Spring or a Constant Contact, so that the whole flow of your lead is digitized. So they automatically get the contact, they get the next email, they get the next email, they get the next email. And it really is, I mean, most of the dollars spent on lead generation now is not really sales, it's really marketing and understanding how we're getting that data. I'm seeing it a lot on the marketing side because we can't really find the salespeople like we used to. So there's a lot of digitalization happening on the marketing side. And then the other one that you mentioned is just digitizing our work and paper. so they're more searchable. Processes are more efficient. I think this is something that most of my clients are going to have an internal resource that really even understands this. AI, to me, we're going to figure out. This one really overlaps a lot with technology. And I mean, I think it'll be an interesting one for people to see really how efficient their processes are and how they could make them more efficient if they digitized or they made data a lot more, they enabled data analytics. I mean, data analytics is now it's a major in college. I mean, kids are coming out with actuary or data analytics because they're now, I think we all have so much data. I think I read somewhere about the amount of data is now not the problem, but it's what do we do with all the data that we have and how do we make those decisions a little bit faster? Anything else on digitizing?
I was just going to provide the example of, the nonprofit with, it was at a rehab center. They had all of the patient's documents in paper, and they were having a lot of trouble finding specific documents for certain patients. So they took the time to digitize everything. And the next time they needed a document, it was only, typing in the name and the document was there within seconds rather than having to dig through old files to find the patient information.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyone using digitalization? Any good digitalization stories here?
So it's on the marketing side again for us. So I don't know if that's really what you mean by digitization, but everything.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you're doing.
Well, just like all the automation, the HubSpot, everything's tracked and, automatic email campaigns and getting them to automatically fill out different fields and whatnot.
Yeah, that there's a lot of folks spending a tremendous amount on market enablement when it comes to digitalization. What about paper flow? Anyone doing anything on, I think that's an interesting one too. It's one I probably need to work on I know at Phillips Edison, my husband's company, they don't do any hard copy papers. Everything goes straight into files that are searchable with keywords. So, I mean, large commercial real estate, and there's not a hard copy file in the organization. And they've just done a lot on that workflow initially to really, I mean, and they probably did that 10 years ago, honestly, 5 years ago. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. All right, digitalization for me and around data analytics is another one that the clients that I have that actually are bringing people on to sift through data and make data dashboards. There's another good book out there. I was just told about the dashboard and business BI. I mean, those have been around for a long time, but I just still don't think that we're getting that information as quick as we should. And I'm going to try the dashboard effect. I think that's what the name of it is, which is another book around how do we get information and data in the hand so it's live and it's out there for us to use. So it's, again, we've been doing data collection, but it's how real and how immediate is it? And, can I see today's data, or am I seeing last week's data or last month's data? I still have a client that takes a month to close their books. I mean, I'm they're not on the call, but they're a printer, and, we're looking at KPIs on the 24th of the month for the month before. That is not a competitive advantage. I'm, figuring out how to get data to a point that you can close out a month and look at it is not helpful if we're looking at it 24 days into the month. I mean, we have to close it out. And I have other clients that are looking at data the day of. So I think this is the difference between, how we're utilizing information. SEO, we're spending a lot on SEO right now. Google Analytics. I know lots of people are doing that, but I heard somewhere, I know this is crazy, but 75% of potential employees will search your company online and go look at information, go to your website, and they will decide to join your company. That's the first thing they're going to do. And if they don't like your website, if they don't like what they see on an online presence, they actually won't even apply, and they certainly will ghost you. 70, I mean, you know, this generation is making decisions based on what your presence looks like online. And the other thing I keep telling everyone, you know, this goes to this one, but they're going to your About Us page and they want to see a purpose and a corporate responsibility. They want to see employee value prop that really connects them into the organization. And if they don't see that on your website, they are not going to join your company. Let's go in the third one.
Yeah,
Emerson.
corporate social responsibility. This, for me, I think it's something that I think about, but I didn't actually know how important it is to, you know, consumers nowadays. Yeah, this Harvard Business Report that I looked at, it was a massive article. There's probably about 10 key points of data, but to name a few, 70% of Americans believe it's somewhat or very important for companies to make the world a better place. 41% of millennial investors put a significant amount of effort into understanding a company's CSR practices, but then compared to 27% of Gen X and 16% of baby boomers. I mean, if that doesn't show you how much important it's become with younger generations, I don't know what will. I think that also speaks to what Darcy was mentioning earlier with purpose. It gives people want to work for an organization that they think is making the world a better place. And especially with, millennials and younger. But it also is a great marketing opportunity to promote your organization if you're doing good things for the world. It's very, I hate to say it's trendy to help the world right now, I think, and it will only continue to become more popular.
So out of my clients, I have MadTree does an annual impact report that you can find on your website if you're looking for something. It's amazing. Their impact report shows all the different ways they're a B Corp, that they're giving back and they've made a difference. JBM Packaging is another one of my clients. I think they just became B Corp, and they may have just put their first impact report on their website. A friend of mine is a Harvard friend in Nashville. She's with a data warehouse company. I just shared it, and I should share it again on my website. They just did an impact report, an annual impact report. This is not an annual report. This is an annual impact report. And these impact reports are going out on LinkedIn. They're going out on the website. Potential employees are looking at them. Potential customers are looking at them. And I don't work with, large companies. It's surprising to me the effort, the marketing, and the internal intrinsic value of corporate responsibility, sustainability. And it is not going away. I mean, it will just continue to be a more important part of your strategy. And so I think these are different ways to take advantage of it. And like I said, I mean, a lot of my clients are doing a ton of marketing on their purpose. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I already mentioned the marketing, but in my meetings over the summer, I think that I've seen it in almost every meeting come up in some type of way, which I think is really great that the companies were looking at that. But attracting young talent because they want to work for a company that is committed to making, the world a better place in some way. And then, stakeholders, a lot of stakeholders, I think, are concerned about what they are committed to and how that is affecting the world and the greater community in some way. And I think that stakeholders are attracted to more environmentally conscious or, socially conscious companies or organizations because it, makes them feel better about what they're doing.
Yeah. I have one company I just started working with. It's a older school kind of industrial company. And we will, in this strategic planning cycle, we are going to get a purpose, and they're going to get a better, more strategic way to give back because their culture isn't what it needs to be. They're really not a very attractive place for younger team. They just acquired a pretty cool company in North Carolina that does a lot of that stuff. So we're going to take a lot of what they've learned and bring it to the larger kind of industrial company. And I'm spending 2 days with them. Emerson was with them on Current Reality. And a big piece of that is a purpose and some way to show that they're giving back to the community. And it's a huge differentiator. It's a big one. And it's funny because Emerson was sort of surprised by it in the smaller scale. I don't think he thought that it was going to be as big as it was.
Yeah.
I love your statistic that 70% of your generation cares and only 16% of mine.
Yeah.
It's almost like, it can be a blind spot. I mean, it can be a blind spot for folks in their 50s and 60s. And sometimes when I ask, why do you exist? And someone still says to make a profit, that is true. You're not sustainable without it. But if you think that the 20 and 30-year-olds are going to stay because you're making a profit, they're not. I mean, they're just not. You're going to find someone who cares. Okay, great. And your last one, my favorite.
Leadership. Yes, with younger generations. My interviews, I think, really helped me out with this one. I interviewed, a recent college grad. I also interviewed someone who's been in consulting for 20, 30 years. And, both of them have said leadership has really changed with, younger generations. And I think that I've seen also in my internship over the summer, leadership has been a big topic of conversation, I think. And, how can you get people to be motivated, especially younger people? They respond more to they respond positively to holistic leaders who really care about their well-being, everything about their life. They want empowerment and development. They want to feel like they're valued. They want to feel like they're really contributing to a greater cause. I mean, I mentioned it with CSR earlier, but they really do want to feel like they're part of a greater thing. And yeah, they want to be led rather than bossed. I think younger people nowadays feel a lot more empowered at a younger age. They don't really feel like they should be bossed, even if they're, low level employee. They want to feel valued. And yeah, they prefer a team approach towards a common goal with a motivating leader who really is pushing them towards that common goal rather than someone who's just telling them to go towards it.
It's been, I mean, I've been in this business for a long time, and level 5 leadership has always been there. I mean, Herb Keller with Southwest Airlines, versus Jack Welch with, GE, it's the legacy that someone leaves. And we've seen it with now that we have lots of examples of leaders that have, maybe followed the guy who started WeWork. I mean, I don't think anyone admires him. I mean, it's an opportunity these days. I mean, it worries me a little bit on just the role model of leadership as we have in the general kind of out there. But it is true that we've got to get back to empowerment and development and holistic. And it's just going to be sort of what the future holds and looks like. And flexibility is the number one thing I think people want in their workplace. And if their leader doesn't understand why that is the case, I mean, people will leave. I mean, they'll leave. So let's see this last one.
Yes. Yeah. One of the things that I really found fascinating when I was doing some of my research is this one market data report that suggested that only 10% of people are natural leaders, which I thought was a little bit depressing, but at the same time, it makes sense. People are not really natural leaders. They need someone to help them become natural leaders, to lead their team. More importantly, and organizations, it will help reduce turnover and keep people motivated and want to keep working towards a common goal, and get the most out of their teams. But again, it also helps with strategic thinking and adaptability on the spot. With leadership training, you can really help unlock the potential of your organization and get them to the next level by getting people motivated and want to work every day, come into work, be excited, and do their best.
One of the articles I read recently was the impact of COVID and on, folks that were either in college or new in the workplace, that there is this need to teach, how to connect, how important it is to care. And that we do have to remember that, for folks in their 20s or less, COVID was 3 years. That can be 20 or 30%, probably more than that, of what they know was COVID and how we communicated at COVID. And so that has impacted a generation. And there is a significant number of folks that are going to make some different choices about companies where they're going to work and how they're going to work. And I think we all have to be open to that. My niece is interesting. She's 32. She didn't take a promotion because she wants to be able to work from home the whole time. She's like, I'm not interested in it. I don't care about it. I like my dogs. I like my garden. I like what I'm doing. She's in data analytics, so she can work from home. But then we hear a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds that actually want a connection and they want to go into the office. They want a mentor. They want to know that somebody is checking in on them, and they actually are really want to be there. So I think what it's taught me is that it's hard to make these assumptions, these broad assumptions about what people want anymore. I mean, I think the holistic leadership part is that you have to have conversations about what your employees want. What's important to you. I ask this on our check-ins. We talk about it on once a week on our calls. We start with, how are you? What's going on today? It kind of drives Emerson batty because he used to listen to 3 old women talk. But me, and I'm an engineer. Like when we do that, all I'm thinking about is getting to the agenda. I mean, I'm Jane and Nancy know I'm like a driver. Cindy is there. But the amount that we gel as a team, even though we do our lunches and we do our quarterlies in person. But, people want to know that you care. They want to know someone cares. That's the number one thing they want, is that somebody cares about them. Even Claire, who's, working from home, she still wants to know someone cares about her. And I think this goes back to, if you're in your 50s and 60s, I don't know that you think that way anymore. I know it's like, for me, I have to really kind of consciously remember how important it is to, ask the questions and not just execute work. So big things for us to consider. And I think this generation is going to be different. So I want to talk a little broadly, but let me just stop before I get to takeaways. For I want to ask, just because you're on here, and Logan, you're on here too. So what do you guys want in a leader?
Are you talking to me? And yeah. Okay. Yeah. What do I want in a leader? I want someone who is in touch with, what's going on in my day-to-day life, what I care about, what motivates me, I think, and what ultimately pushes me to succeed. I don't want someone to just tell me what to do and expect me to do it, I think is what I would say. Yeah.
Logan, would you want to share what you want in a leader?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me would be, to pay me during my lunch break. That was what I would like in a leader the most. Seriously, I agree with Emerson. I think it's really hard for people of our generation just to be given a task, just like on paper or an email. Even for me, I'm not good at checking my emails at all. Like, I'd almost rather have like a face-to-face conversation with like a personable leader, someone who like can connect with me and like, better help me tell me what to do.
So Logan did a summer internship at Children's Hospital. It was a select few. He was in genetics. The first 2 weeks for his orientation, he sat by himself in front of a computer doing training. It was the longest 2 weeks of his life. I mean, the fact that he stayed is pretty questionable. And so he also trained to get into the lab, but they wouldn't let him in there for a little bit too long. And he's like, I'm not adding any value. I mean, I'm sitting in front of a computer, no one's talking to me. I want to add value. And so I think that's where we have to think about orientations and training and adding value and recognize that this group learns fast. They want connection and they want to do something. They want to add value quick, really quick. And I think that is something for us that I see a lot of shortcomings. I don't know what the struggle with for all of you, but a lot of my clients are struggling to retain people in the first 1 to 3 years. The turnover rate is 40 to 50%. And the main reason they're leaving is just the lack of connection. I mean, the lack of someone checking in on them on a regular basis, that someone cares. Because if, like Logan, had someone who cared, he did have someone who took him to lunch, even though he was, but not having someone, one of my clients has service techs, and they can't keep a service tech because nobody is checking in on the service tech. Because guess what? The person the service tech can reports up to has got too many service techs connecting to them, reporting up, and they are not checking in on those service techs. So they are having a huge issue on retention. So we've got to just figure out as a leadership team on how we make sure when people come on board, they're back to those first days, when we used to do this well, that they have a mentor, they have someone to go to lunch with, that they get a weekly call if they're not in the office, that they have an onboarding plan that involves meeting with people. I mean, we've gotten a little lazy, I think, sometimes. But I think, for what's happened is these guys have too many choices. So they're out faster than they've ever been. They don't have to stay. They're out. So if they don't see a reason to stay, which is because they have a community of people who care about them, they are going to leave. And they are leaving. And it's a very expensive problem, So that's what, I would say, and I'm open to any, we can talk about any questions out there that folks might have. Lou, you got any questions? Uh-oh, you're muted. Hold on.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. I'd love to hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was eating an ice cream earlier. Today was our ice cream social.
Love it.
Which is one way we work at trying to keep people happy and staying here. And it was melting faster than I thought was appropriate, so I had to eat it. It was really good. It's one of those dilly bars. Anyway, how do you keep people engaged and show them that you love them and care about them when they're not here?
I know. Yeah. Well, what I would say is, what does the person want? It depends on like Claire, my niece, she wants someone to connect with her on a regular basis. I mean, Nancy, Jane, and I, and Cindy, we are not together, but we have our team, and we have calls throughout the week and connection calls throughout the week. But I would say the first question is, what does that person need and want? And, Claire is very happy working from home, but she also wants someone to check in on her on a regular basis. She also wants to be very clear on what she needs or what she's supposed to do on measurement. She wants to be successful every day. And so, but she wants flexibility too. I think it's just complicated now because we have options, but I think the number one thing, and one of my groups said this, is that there's someone who cares about me, and that I know who I can go to if I don't know what I'm doing. That's if I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm at home or even at work, who can I go ask? That is a bigger frustration for new leaders than you would think, because they really don't know who, and they just spin. And when you spin not knowing how to do your job, it is just a completely demoralizing situation. And then the third is that there's a community. I mean, I think people still want a community of people that they have something in common with. I still think that that is, you know, who is my community of people? But those top two, you know, are hard, but we have to figure out who cares about that person and who, and where do they go to when they have a question? Yeah, Nancy.
I have a son who is 29 and he was at a job and you know, he was new and frustrated and you know, ready to walk out the door. And his leader came to him and said, Connor, I just want you to know we want you here. Please do not leave us unless you come and talk to us. And just that completely changed the way he sees his entire job. He loves it. And if he needs anything or feels not right about something, he knows exactly who to go to and he knows that they want him. So just those little words made a huge difference.
I think that's another one. I mean, and you know, I was just talking about some things that we don't do is we don't always let people know that we want them to stay. I mean, we don't always tell them how important they are. We don't always invest in them. We don't always let them know. And again, these guys and girls have more choices. So if they don't feel valued, they're leaving. I mean, they're just leaving. If they don't think there's a purpose for the company, I mean, they will leave. If they don't think that you're utilizing technology in a way, I think digitalization and chat GPT and AI, if my clients don't figure that out and Emerson and Logan joins them, they will leave. They will be gone. I mean, they want to know that they're with an organization that is, you know, relevant in today's terms. That's awesome. All right. Any other comments from the group? Okay. So I do want to, you know, mention, we do have a good leadership training coming up, our Stretch Academy. So we do a lot of self-awareness, a lot of training on leaders. We have 4 classes, well, there's 6. 2 are really on a personal strategic plan and a team strategic plan. And then you also get a lot on change management, high performing teams, culture activators, and understand self and others. So we've developed that program and this is our 3rd time doing it. We have one in September and one in January. One of the quotes we got from a leader who went through it was Steve Malone over at Matandi, and I'll get it wrong, but he sent me an email that was just like, thank you for investing in me. I got promoted into a production way beyond the skill set I thought I needed. And I appreciated the fact that someone recognized that I needed a deeper toolbox to be successful. And it was awesome. I asked him if I could use it. So if you guys are looking for leadership training, let us know, because we haven't done that before. We've just started doing the Stretch Academy. So that's it. All right, Emerson, don't forget about the little people. You know, when you're famous. Logan, you too. And we'll record this. Emerson, we appreciate you. Thanks everyone for taking time. We will record this and put it up on our website and share. Thanks, Kara. We will share the conversation again through recording. Thank you.
Thanks, Darcy.
Thanks, Lou. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.